everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today is a very exciting day. We're going to paint this gorgeous scene of a man's suit with boutonniere. I love it. We're going to go over all of this. It's easier than you think. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
Now, I explain my lessons step by step. I fully explain techniques, I explain color mixes, and my husband, John,
Yes.
he makes sure that the camera is pointing at what I'm talking about, what I'm teaching, what I'm explaining, so that not only you're getting the good explanation, but you're able to really see what's happening. Because if you're able to see what's happening, it's much easier for you to duplicate it at home. So you will hear him throughout the video.
That's right. I will be here.
All the time. It's very cool. And he keeps me going.
I try sometimes. I try.
In the description down below, I like to hide a lot of information. The free traceable. No, I don't really hide it, but that's where it is. You got to hit the more sometimes to see it. There's a link to the traceable. There's a link to my website. There's a list of materials, brushes included, just lots of extra information. I like to pack it down there. So if you're looking for something as a student, it's probably there. If you're here for the premiere and you have a question, put it all in caps. We won't think you are yelling at us at all. People with wrenches are art ambassadors we don't really have art cop moderators. We have art ambassadors, and these are just wonderful volunteers who are painters just like you, who've just watched 2,500 videos and they know how to share the links and where that is. And so they're just here to help you find what you need. That's all the things that you need to know. So I guess there's nothing for you to do but get your paint, get your brushes, and come back. I am going to show you for real how to paint this yourself. Come on, let's go. So for today's course, we have an 8x8 canvas, and on my palette, I have the following colors. Right here is ultramarine blue and Mars black next to each other. This is going to be for my background. I've got burnt sienna, phthalo green, cad yellow medium, dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, cad red medium, another thing of ultramarine blue, another thing of Mars black. Right here is not actually white paint. It's satin glazing liquid that helps me like do some blending and glazing. And right here, I have titanium white. So there's nothing really to do but throw up step one. Start having some fun. Step one, start having some fun. So I'm going to take a 3/4 inch Catalyst angle brush by Princeton. I'm going to come over here and mix these two together. Mix them together, and I'm going to paint the entire canvas this blue-black color. It's a blue-black. Different than a black. And, you know, it's something like a lot of times, you know, you'll be like, well, it just looks black to me, but there's a blue cast to it. It makes a difference when we're working. I might mist my canvas with just water just to improve the flow. Because sometimes when you get going, the canvas is super thirsty.
It can be that way.
Can be so thirsty. Thirsty canvas. Painting it blue-black. Black and blue. And I'm just going back and forth, working this into the canvas, making sure we're painting around the edges. I don't paint the full sides, but I do paint the turns so that if I frame or anyone frames, it will look finished. All right. Now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to dry it. And here's my note on drying. Whether you're here on the replay or you're here for the premiere, when I'm drying mine, what you want to do is wait. You're drying yours. That's when you hit pause, and then you hit play when yours is done. That way we're painting together at the same time. So that's my tip. And other than that, I'm going to dry it and come back and tell you what we do next. So this step, you're either going to sketch in the lines of the drawing with chalk. I'm using Credit Color chalk pencil here. You could use a Dritz chalk tailor tool, any sort of kids chalk, just chalk that you can remove easily. Or you're going to use the traceable. So if you're doing the traceable, you do that now. But if you're doing the chalk, let's begin drawing. So the first thing I want to do is to kind of take this little corner, and I'm going to come across here at an angle and make a line. That's the angle for the shoulder. Now I'm going to come right here to this far side, and I'm going to start to paint the little tie. You got to paint the tie. I think actually I need to make it higher and bigger. Now we're going to come down here with a shirt collar. And I'm going to widen the tie out here, coming down from the top. At an angle is our suit. Our suit comes down at a nice little angle. And then this tapers down. Then right here, we're going to talk a little bit about the pocket. Here, I'm going to sketch in a I think how I want to sketch that in. We're just doing a little rose boutonniere. Just sketching in that little rose boutonniere. I have a video actually on how to do this particular sketch on the little roses. How you do them, they're actually pretty easy. Maybe we'll bring it down to a taper. And we'll add some flowers and some other bits coming out here, but we want that main thing. All right. Little pocket. We have got it. What do you think? You're a suit wearer, sir.
I think that's pretty suity.
Do you find it pretty suity?
I would wear that suit. I could suit it up.
I might faintly do the shoulder here. I'm not totally sure I will. I might faintly do it. Or I may let it go off and have the character be broad shouldered, because otherwise it's going to be such a... Make the pocket a little bit longer. All right. So we have some style of suit here. I'm not an expert in men's fashion, but this is a style of suit.
Yes.
All right. So once we have that done, let's go on to the next step, and we'll start painting in the different elements of our shirt and jacket and everything. So I'm going to start on the white shirt, which is sometimes, like, in some ways the hardest, I think. I'm going to use my blue gray, and I'm going to mix a light gray for right here. If I need to make it darker, I will. I'm going to start with a light gray, slightly darker gray, and I come under the shirt. And then I might think about a little bit of a wrinkle. Kind of little, thinking about a couple little pulling wrinkles. Go ahead and add a little more white. I haven't rinsed my brush, but I am adding more white. And paint that all in. So it's not a pure white. And the reason for that is why it's such a light gray is so that later we can come back with a slight white highlight.
Have to preserve that last white.
Yeah. Just for the composition of it. I'm going to get a darker gray. Come right here. I'm going to get black. Right under here, I'm just going to do black. Bring that black along there so there's some contrast. Wipe my brush off. Again, I'm saving a little room for white. Painting this in. I'm using my 1/4" angle brush because it's giving me a lot of control around these sharp edges. That's not a 1/4". That's a 1/2 inch. I didn't change brushes on you, don't worry. If you're here for just this class, this is part of a 30-day, I mentioned in the beginning, a 30-day, 31-day painting challenge. And I do a set list of brushes and a set list of paints. And so that's why it would be a big deal if I changed brush sizes on everyone suddenly. Just continue to paint this in. Gonna rinse out a little bit. Wipe this off so that it's barely damp. And come here and take a slightly softer gray and kind of lightly brush over my fold. It's there, but I'm lightening it. We'll be putting it back later. We just want to make sure that we've got that. I'm going to wipe my brush off. Get some just black. Come along here. And along there, just black. That looks pretty good. All right. Step 1 was fun. When we come back, I'm going to show you what we do next, but let's try it thoroughly before we hit the next stage.
Your step 1 was fun. Step 2 was fun, but this was step 3.
This was step 3?
Yeah. So
goodness gracious me. Well, I'm having fun.
We'll be back for step 4.
We'll be back for step 4 and some more, but we're going to try it first. So on this step, we're going to work on the tie. I'm going to mix a little bit of my quinacridone with my cad red. All right, this is how we're going to get this red with our set. And then I'm going to add in some dioxazine purple. Makes a deep Merlot.
Deep.
Deep. I'm going to paint this in. So it's a deep enough Merlot that it's actually almost in the same value as the background. And that gives us a lot of room to do the highlights in there. I'm definitely painting around that edge so that my tie goes off the canvas. And then I'm going to very carefully make sure that the tie goes around there. That's really all I've got to do there, so let's rinse that out. That can be having a little bit of a dry. And I'm going to come over to my blue and black. I'm going to mix a little bit of a blue-gray. This time a little bluer. It's a little bluer. Add a little white to it. And I'm going to begin to paint the suit in with this blue-gray. I'm starting at the lapel. I'm going to work carefully around my boutonniere. Though I'm going to be painting it back, so if you want to paint out you can, because we're putting it back in as we paint. Now I'll get a little more white into the mix and make a highlighting color. Come up the inside of the lapel, still using my 1/2 inch angle. And then I'm going to just blend while it's all wet into wet, this highlight. A little bit of a highlight there. And just blend a little bit of that highlight in here. Just a little highlighted. We'll come and put the depth of the soup back or rinse off. While I'm at it, I'm going to grab a little of my highlight color. I'm going to come here and paint in our little pocket. You could have a pocket square with this if you felt like it, but I liked the Boutonniere.
Yeah.
There we go. Just make this nice symmetrical kind of thing.
I like it.
Do you like it?
I do.
I'm going to come up here because I'm a little bit out of this mixture down here. Take a little bit of my blue over to my black and mix them both up. And I'm going to add a little less white this time. I may come back and hit the lapel again. Well, I don't know. That was a lot more white. But still dark enough, so I'm going to paint this in. Just brush this all in. We're blocking in the soup pretty quickly.
Really is.
Come back in along the lapel of the suit.
The lapel of the suit.
The lapel. Smidge of white. Maybe get a little highlight color. Come along the top, shoulder.
Yep. Top shoulder.
Top of the shoulder, and then sort of blend that down in. Brush, 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 brush.
Brush, 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 brush.
Brush, 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 brush. Ooh, it's suiting up.
It is.
It is totally suiting up. Then I'm going to take a little bit of my burnt sienna over to my cad yellow, and I'm going to get a little bit of my cad red in there. I'm going to come off here, and the background will be this orange-brown color off that corner. There we go. So those are very noticeable and separate of each other.
Right.
Okay, we want to dry everything, and when I come back, I will show you what we do next. So I'm going to come here real fast, and I'm going to take my dark tie color, and I'm going to paint the center, little circle of the boutonniere. Painting this down. I'm just going to paint its overall shape. And I'll have a little fold coming in from here. Little folded petal coming in from here. And I'm going to paint a little of the red like it's tied with a ribbon or wrapped. And take a little bit of my burnt sienna over to my phthalo green. And then go ahead and mix in this dark green. And then perhaps here we'll do a little leaf coming off. One coming over the top. There we go. Let's call that a step. So what we have here is an underpainting. It's the blocking in of the colors and the values. And now we begin to refine our ideas. I'm going to take a little bit of my cad red kind of over to my quinacridone magenta, and I'm going to mix them a little bit to the magenta. Do you see that I'm doing? A little more magenta than cad red. The reason for that is that I have cad red highlights. I'm going to come here and begin to speak to the highlight right there. Now, I may take a little of my glazing liquid, use that to blend this just a bit. I could also use the shadow color again. That's a little hard for y'all to see because it's shiny. I'm going to come down in here. Just brush this down. And you can see this just gives us some real red. All right. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and get a little of my red into this, and we'll roll that off. I'm going to paint just a little bit of a petal. It's a highlight right there. A little bit of a petal that's right there. A couple little circles. I'm going to add a little more magenta into my red mix. Come in here and paint the rest of my rose in. make sure that my highlights are running in there. So we're starting to see the value of the rose. Just starting to, and that's okay. That's all we've got to do. And then I'm going to come here and kind of come across, little touch, touch, touch. While that's having to dry, I can come back over to my Quinn, my Cad Red, my Doc's Purple, which is my like shaded color. I'm going to come under here. And paint in a little shadow. This is like the crease or fold. And paint a little bit right there. And a little bit right here. Can come along the suit with that dark color. Okay, let's dry everything and I'll come back and show you what we're going to do next. Now I'm going to take my 1/2 inch angle brush again and I'm going to grab a little bit of my white. And I'm going to come to the top of my shirt. And brush down this highlight. Now we have a little bit of dimensionality to what we have here. Come here and brush, brush, brush. It's kind of a dry brush.
Kind of an interesting highlight there.
Yeah, just putting a little highlight in. Brush over it. It's still there. The fold is still there. And I can always put it back if I need to. I'm just trying to make these subtle into the shirt. I can always go back. Carefully brush in a little crease. Now underneath here, I'm going to want to come and very carefully, just going to take it from black, but it's still got that shadow under it. Nice. It's looking good. Just a nice little suit happening. All right, when we come back, I'm going to show you what we do next. All right, so I'm going to work on the suit a little bit. I'm going to take my blue again back over towards my black and make my blue black. And I can check it when it's thin. So like sometimes it's hard to see if you have enough blue in your black. But when you brush it out, you'll see a blue cast to it, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I definitely have some blue in my black. I'm going to come here and sort of underneath the lapel, going to brush up a little bit of a shadow. Just brush it through, dry brush it through. Just Just a little bit of a shadow. Maybe a little bit of a shadow over on this far side. Now I'm going to get a smidge of white. Here I'm going to really dry brush. I want to keep the pocket, a little faint element of the pocket. Just a little bit of the white back in. I'm just lightly brushing that up here. This little pocket's a subtle thing. It's here. We see it, but
It's there. I see it.
we see it.
We see it.
We see you, pocket. We see you. Just really, really brush this around. Take a smidge. Kind of dry brush the shadow. Fabric is just a lot of shading and values. And this is just a great practice. Get a little bit of white on here. Slightly lighter highlight. Lighter as it comes towards the lapel. I'm just dry brushing this down. This is really fun to do. What a fun little subject to paint. Come back into my dark color and kind of dry brush back up into it. My blue, a little bit of my black. Some white in there. A little more white. You just dance this back and forth. Dance it back and forth. Just a little bit of a go there. And come here and get my like dark gray color. Try brushing this through here. Kind of matching it up to the suit. Now I've got a little bit of a highlight here and a little bit of a shadow. Come along my boutonniere with my blue black, my pure blue black. This will really pop when I highlight everything over here. Just wiggling it in with the corner of my brush. So I'll give it like that. Stand up and pay attention. All right, let's dry everything with our hairdryer. And when we come back, I'm going to show you what we do next. So I'm going to come back with my number 6 Raphael Sepia round, and I'm going to grab a little bit of my Cad Red and my Quin Magenta, but I'm going to be much more, got some glazing liquid, much more into the Cad Red. So it's much more of a vibrant. And very carefully brush this. A little bit of that highlight there. And a little bit of that highlight there. Suddenly it's just gorgeous, right? That's wild. How quickly that goes. Now I'm going to rinse out for a second.
Totally comes together so fast.
It does come together really fast. And I'm going to grab my burnt sienna and my phthalo green. And then I'm going to come over and add some cad yellow to it. Highlight here and here. Just a little bit of a highlight there. Kind of brush this in. Brush that in. Brush that in. Oh, I love that. I'm going to go ahead and bring a little bright red across the little glow there. Now I think I'm going to move down to a smaller brush for a second. Just for a second.
Just for a moment.
Yeah, I'm going to grab my number 0 Raphael Precision. Just any of the detail brushes are fine. I'm going to come here and if I need to, I get some glazing liquid just to improve the flow. I might put on my vision enhancer so I can really see what I'm doing. It's just a fun little painting. It's very important. I'm going to make a little circle here. Just catching that highlight there. Paint a little highlight right there. Grab a little bit of my red with quinacridone here. Hit this on a little angle there. That. I'm going to grab a little bit of my quinacridone, cad red, and Doc's purple. Go ahead and reinforce the shadows. There we go. Grab a little more cad yellow into my green from earlier. That was the burnt sienna and phthalo green. Just outline that a little bit so it catches the edges. And then, ooh, just barely on there so that shine is real high. You want that shine to be real, real high. And just put my CAD right across there. So that shine is super high. See how shiny that is?
I do see.
All right. Oh my gosh. What a fun day.
Wow.
Well, just a fun day. And this is such a good gift. You could do this for a wedding. You could do this as a gift for somebody that's like moving out and going on to college. There's not a lot of great paintings out there for guys, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this is one of those, like, you could give this to the guy in your life and they would be just really super pleased with it.
Or, it's guys aren't the exclusive suit wearers anymore either.
That's true. So I guess I would generalize and say suit wearer in your life.
That's true. Just could be the suit wearer.
The wearer of suit. I'm going to make a gray. I'm going to get my blue-gray together. It's got to be lighter than the background, just so that it'll show. But I want it to be in the same colors so that it's not distracting. I'm really proud of this one. This would just go so well with my whole wedding collection.
Yeah, I think it would.
I did a full man suit once.
I think you did.
It's like a fashion illustration.
Yeah. There's been a couple little things like that.
There we go. A little bit of that. And again, if this bothers me, this is like a little bit light. What I can do is I can come glaze it and knock it into the background if I feel like that.
I think it looks good.
All right. All right. When we come back, I'm going to tell you what you do next with your fabulous painting. Well, we've got another day done on our fun art journey.
This is a fun one.
This is a really fun one. And I do like to alternate some of our paintings with fun ones so that, our energy stays up and we stay, revitalized for it. And it's great to have projects that come together and are like really still instructional. Like this really covered a lot of our blending. Now, I would love to see yours, how yours came out. And the way to do that is you can hashtag it with the Art Sherpa or Acrylic August. You can share them on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and Pinterest and Threads. I'm not really on Twitter anymore, or whatever we're calling it now. I don't really do that one anymore. So I'm not ignoring you if you're over there. I'm just hiding from what's happening over there. I'm hiding till it all calms down. But I'm all the other places, so I would love to see your painting. I also have a couple of groups on Facebook. I have the Acrylic Able group and the Art Sherpa official group. You can share this in either group. They are closed groups. We curate posts, like we approve posts so there's no spam or junk or, accounts trying to get you to friend them. Yeah. We really try to make sure that that's not in there. So they're good places to share your art. And I would just love to see yours. Now, maybe you came and you are doing the daily painting journey with me. I hope you're doing great. I know what it's like to do this. I am currently doing it. And so I know what stage we're in. And I think it's that stage when you start to feel like a little bit energized, a little bit good. But every painting has its own day. So I want you to give yourself a big hug for hanging in and completing the painting. If you're new here, like you just saw the suit and you're like, I need this for a wedding, I got to paint this, be sure and hit that subscribe button. I have 2,500 other lessons and I make new lessons all the week. And then I have big challenges like this, 31-day challenges. So there's so much free art education over here. You don't want to miss out. So do hit that subscribe button. And if you thought I did a good job, you could hit the like. If you have a question, leave it in the comments after the show. I check my YouTube channel all the time. You can leave other comments like you did a good job. But like if you have questions, leave them and I check my YouTube channel every day. Every day,
multiple times a day.
So there's nothing else to do but be good to yourself, be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.